welcome to another edition of Wrestling Sheet Radio. I'm your host, ProWrestlingSheet.com editor-in-chief Ryan Satin, here with my guest co-host today, Mr. Jay Washington.
I am glad to be back on here, brother.
It's great to have you back here.
Ah, man, this is good. Good to be back. It's a lot of good things to talk about now.
Yeah, I was worried when all that stuff happened. I was like, I hope I can still get Jay Washington in here.
I want you all to know as I look at the camera, Ryan hits me up, was like, hey, so what's your relationship?
So, are we allowed to talk?
Yeah, can you come? And I was like, absolutely, man. I'll be here.
It's like you're not sure if like one of your friends gets in trouble for doing something with you, and then you're like, are the parents not gonna let us hang out anymore?
I mean, look, I understand your mom and my mom ain't talking because
exactly, they're more like that. Yeah, exactly.
I get it, but yeah, man.
But yes, lots of stuff happened this week. We're gonna get into NXT. We're gonna get into AEW. But we got three stories that I want to discuss before that.
Let's go.
The first of which being AEW getting extended, their TNT deal being extended through 2023. Pretty big news.
That is not bad at all. See, here's the thing. It's not just good for AEW. It's good for the business.
Correct.
It's good for the business. Everybody keeps doing this whole, because of the Wednesday night battle, making it seem like one company will take out another. That's not going to happen either way.
No.
This is good for the workers. This is good for the guys and girls like myself and others who are trying to get on television. Now you have more opportunity.
Yep.
This is not a bad. I'm happy for all the guys. Look, Cody them set out on a plan. It worked. Yep. First of all, they wanted to start a company. They did. Then they wanted to see if they can get TV. They have. Now, Cody, never forget when Cody was about to have the first episode of Dynamite, he said it could be one and done.
Yep.
We're going extended into 4 years. So.
Yep. And it's only been 3 months.
3 months.
Like, you cover TV, and I've worked in TV my whole life, and it's not often you see things get picked up for like 4 years like that, especially something untested.
I think that's the interesting thing about it. This is a company that's never had television. This is a from the ground up company. Like, this isn't some, for lack of better words, people get upset. This isn't ROH or this isn't Impact that all of a sudden gets brought over and you're like, hey, we want to do this and run with it. This is something that just got started up.
Yeah.
A group of guys ran a pay-per-view and then said, you know what, let's make an official company out of it. And got a billionaire backer, which helps out a millionfold. A billionfold, actually. And so now TNT is like, we replaced that void that we've had, because a lot of people kept telling them for years, get wrestling back on the network.
Yeah.
Get wrestling back. Now you have it. Mm-hmm. Now the thing is, what do Cody, Kenny, and the Bucks do? As far as their booking, their storylines, how they, bring talent in, how they utilize talent, how they go forward. That's what's going to be the big issue now, because a lot of people have a lot of things to say about what we see on TV. Because remember, the honeymoon phase is over.
Yeah. The
honeymoon phase is over.
I will say, though, I felt like the honeymoon was ending at the end of the year, it felt like. And they really, to me, I have noticed a shift since the new year started, since that first one that was their homecoming episode or whatever, and now Bash at the Beach and everything. I have noticed a shift in a certain way where it has looked like they have taken some of the criticisms to heart and made some changes.
Well, we'll talk more about AEW later in depth, but that's the thing. Now you got these guys who you wanted to be these execs. You wanted to be the guys to give guys and girls the opportunities. Now you have that. You got to know what to do with this power now. Yep. You put people behind the scenes to help you with this. It's got to all play together. No one can, there is a big boss, but guess who that big boss is? It's the person with the money at the end of the day. So, again, 4 years on TV, great. Now make these years count.
It's funny. You mentioned how it was like, they had to get TV. They had to, get a TV, get on TV. In the press release for the announcement, I believe it was Tony Khan who said that they were partners with TNT from day one. It's just they couldn't say that. And I was like, that's hilarious, because there was all this reporting of might go to this channel, might go to that channel. He said He said, when we launched AEW 1 year ago, we wanted to start a revolution that would disrupt the wrestling business, but everyone said that it would take a strong weekly television partner to make AEW real in the eyes of everyone, above all the fans. What virtually no one realized at the time was Kevin Riley and TNT were committed to this very same movement from day one, and their belief in us made it possible for AEW to think big and act big from the start. Here we are only 3 months into Wednesday Night Dynamite, and now we've been extended through 2023. So I love that there was all that like, oh, they're talking to this company. Oh, they're talking to this network. Oh, and it was like they were clearly talking to TNT from day one. It seemed like they had TV from day one. It always felt like they wouldn't have done all of this without TV.
Yeah, you never would have had this big thing going without TV.
You never would have been like, we're coming for WWE.
You're not going to say that without TV. No.
Yeah, no.
And if anybody thinks that, like, we're just going to run shows with pay-per-views and we're going to come at WWE, no, you're not. You know what you have. You just can't announce it. Again, I was one of those people like, hey, I wish him the best from the beginning. The best is happening.
Yep.
Now you got to keep it up.
Yeah, absolutely. I also liked, because it's so fast of how they've jumped in, how TNT is just like going all in on this now. I liked this quote from Kevin Riley, who's the president of TNT. He's the head of content of Warner Media in general. He said, I just had this idea that, the discussions to extend the deal began over the holidays. And then he said, I just had this idea that this was the time to invest. This is a startup. It's already over-delivered out of the gate. That's really when you want to hit the gasoline a little bit. The guys already have ideas about additional talent and things they want to do. And I wanted to incentivize them as a partner to do that. We also wanted to give fans and talent who potentially want to come work with us the sense that this is here to stay. You can invest in it. It's here to stay, and it's only going to get better.
That's a good thing. I mean, that's a guarantee because, like, a lot of people that went there, remember, this whole thing has been, not the whole thing, the majority of it has been WWE.
Yep.
And now you have that, and another company, which I'm sure you're going to be talking about, just got announced for having TV deals. Just announced with a big agency to go for TV. So now
we're probably not going to get into that, but
MLW, okay. So MLW announces that, but still, you hear this like, we're saying the big dogs. What happens if this doesn't work?
Yep.
Where are we gonna go?
Yeah,
what do we do after this? Mm-hmm. And so,
like Cody hit the throne. We gotta really, we gotta really do something now.
Cody shot shots like a drive-by. Like Jesus, like we gotta make this count. And again, that's not just the Bucks and the Elite. That's all the guys deciding to say, hey, we're signing with you.
Yeah.
Because you're taking that side. Yeah. Guys who had the opportunity to go, guys and girls had the opportunity to go to WWE, but they were like, nah, I'm gonna come over here. Mm-hmm. So now to know it's stable. Mm-hmm. This isn't a sinking ship real quick. We're good. Year 3, when if they haven't talked about a renewal after that, then you start saying, okay, Jesus, what do we do?
Yeah.
But right now you're good.
And I also feel like, everyone wants to know how much are they being paid for it? How much are they being paid for it?
We don't need to know this.
And the thing is, I saw what Meltzer reported. I believe it was like $45 million a year or something like that. But I feel like it's being the what's the word I'm looking for? Like it's not like WWE being paid a rights fee like you're thinking. To me, from what it appears to me is that similar to TV shows, this is their budget.
That's what I was just about to say. This is their look at the stage.
Exactly. This is their budget. And I know from having a dad who had his own production company, and what I've learned is you get a budget,
mm-hmm.
you try your best
to stay
under the budget because you get to keep whatever you don't spend in the budget. But, that's a budget. That's not necessarily like they got paid because that's going to talent, stages, people working behind the scenes,
transportation, all these little bitty things you don't think about.
Yeah.
That's what goes into all this.
Exactly.
Every time you see a new apron or whatever, or a ring skirt that mimics a new event, that's for that. You know what I'm saying? So you have to pay attention to all those little things, and they cost. They start to add up. Vince McMahon has that's why he started using LED screens. You know how many skirts he had for so many different events that's sitting up in a warehouse somewhere that I'm surprised he hasn't put on sale by now for auction? Anybody want a ring skirt from Armageddon 1998? All those things. Cody, the interest, the pyro, all of that costs. So that's what TNT is paying for.
Yes.
And they're paying for
that entrance where Cody uses every single pyro known to mankind
and every light
that costs money. Yeah, exactly.
It's not cheap weekly.
No.
Because also, real quick, people forget when you see the pyro in the show, That's the pyro for the show. There's pre-pyro that has to go off too.
Yeah.
So you got double pyro man, listen.
That is actually, you don't think about it, that there's like double pyro.
No.
Every pyro has to have double, basically.
It has to.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's fun. I didn't even think about that.
Can you imagine what happens if Cody doesn't go off right one time? What does he? Does Cody say, "I'm not coming out this cage"? Just
redo that.
Send me back down. Send me back down. Send me back down. We're gonna do this again.
Reset. Let's try this again here. But one of the other things that, before we move topics, one of the other things that got brought up in this whole announcement was that TNT is also going to have a second show now. They're going to have their own show, a second show that is what we've later learned is basically going to be another a different version of AEW
Dark. Yeah,
that Dark's not going to be on YouTube anymore. It's going to be on TNT. Basically, what he said, Riley, is that they're going to embellish AEW Dark and put some additional material, kind of like behind the scenes and kind of docu-follow stuff about the athletes and the stories. So what I take from this is that they're going to mix
being the elite.
No, they're going to mix Road 2.
Okay.
And Dark into one show.
Okay.
And put that on TNT.
So, do you think they should still keep being the elite as a YouTube thing?
I love being the elite, right? Like,
should it still be a YouTube? I'm not saying get rid of it as a whole. Should it still be a YouTube show now?
I was conflicted on the should it even be around anymore. Here's what I think about it. No, I don't think it should be a TV show.
Okay.
Because from what I've been told, AEW doesn't see, at least the most important people in AEW don't see being the elite as a canon or a place to drive storylines. What they see it as like a fun skit, fun thing. And so like they don't consider the things that happen on BTE part of canon or storyline. It's supposed to be fun little Easter eggs.
Well, but see, from the way it's been presented, is that there are certain storylines and certain elements. Now, granted, they're picking that up, and you see that. At first, it was you need to follow being the elite
to know what the elite are doing.
To know what the elite are doing. Now they're starting to they're slowly giving you this, hey, here it is directly. Because that was the thing. I was confused about that. I'm like, you can't, I understand what you're trying to do. And being the elite was something they started, being the Bullet Club and all these things. But now you're on a bigger level. It's not saying you're isolating and you're ostracizing that fan base, but you got to cater. You can't just cater anymore.
And also, 100%. That's a great way to say it. You cannot just cater anymore.
Can't cater anymore.
And also, I'm trying to think of the right word, but for example, this week on Being the Elite, they started with the Young Bucks and they're basically making fun of the fans who are criticizing their booking, and they're using the lawn as like a way of making fun of it, of like where Matt's giving Nick crap for the way he's landscaping his lawn, but it's clearly to make fun of the fans for who aren't letting long-term stuff play out, and they're criticizing things along the way,
just off seeing things.
But it's clearly like they're mocking their own fan base for criticizing the show that they're watching because they love these guys.
I listen, if I didn't know what you were talking about, I'd probably shot myself being so confused, because I get what you're talking about.
Right?
I get it. It's like, these are the people that are the reason you have what you have.
Exactly.
But that's another thing.
And now you're mocking them for not just following and saying everything you're doing is great.
You forget, wrestling fans, as a worker and as a fan, wrestling fans are fickle. You know it. You see the business.
Yeah.
You see the behind the scenes. Wrestling fans are fickle. The internet wrestling community feels like they are the ultimate bookers.
Yeah.
And forget that, look, as much noise as you make on the internet, you're less than 1% of real noise.
Totally.
And so I get what they're doing, but also, I hate to do it this way, Triple H has done it. He's done the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So each has done.
I don't think Triple H has done that since NXT came about. NXT, since
NXT
he became Papa Hunter or Papa Triple H, and it's like
when
his baby.
I'm talking about when he was on TV.
But when it was his baby, when he's had his own baby.
Oh, yeah, it's a whole different ballgame.
You don't see Triple H making fun of the fans
because he's not worried about him anymore.
I mean, maybe a little bit here and there. I don't know.
But it's not as much focus. He knows at the end of the day, he's putting on a product. Now, he does also realize what I've paid attention from Hunter is that you've got a lot of indie star talent, and it took him a while to come around and understand that.
Yeah.
That you have independent level talent.
Yeah.
You don't have this, we're a WWE superstar made talent.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have talent that has a fan base already in. And so now you have to respect that. He understands that now. But with the elite, with the Bucks, it's like, yo, these are the people that helped y'all. I get it. Y'all had those meetings. The fans weren't in those meetings. Mm-hmm. I get it, y'all. Your fans weren't there when the TV deals and everything were signed. But these are the people that were buying these shirts consistently. Mm-hmm. These are the people constantly talking about Super Kick Party. Mm-hmm. These are the people constantly going to the arena selling out for y'all. Mm-hmm. These are the people, the reason you were able to get a show after you did all out, all in.
Correct. And that's what bothered me about it. And that's why I felt like...
Now, don't get me wrong. Matt and Nick, I would love a job. Again, so there's Battle
Royal.
I
love the Young Bucks. It's one of those things where I'm speaking out of love. Because
absolutely.
I'm one of those people where I'm like, dude, why? Like,
look,
I felt like it was, and I know it wasn't a personal thing at me, but when you watch it, you're like,
dude,
hey, man, that's not how you.
You're talking to somebody who, and again, let me say this before people say I'm hypocritical. I also go at my fans for the stuff with the nerd stuff I talk about. Because I know how some be like, well, a woman shouldn't do this, or they shouldn't have an LGBT this, or they shouldn't have a person of color. They're trying to do.
But you're also not running an international multi-million-dollar wrestling promotion.
We know this. I'm barely getting the patrons I'm trying to get on.
You know what I mean? So like, it's different.
Nah, I got what you're saying.
It's a little different because, and I do the same thing. I fall my.
We're all guilty of it
at one point or another. But to put it on but to put it out there on official channels where before, when they were making fun of management or stuff like that, or the booking, they weren't making fun of themselves. They were making fun of people who were making them do things.
I think that's the biggest problem.
So now it's like when they're making fun of things that happened on AEW, you're like, you booked that though.
Yeah, and I think that's the overall issue. The overall issue is they let it be known that they were bookers.
Yeah, so it's like this tongue-in-cheek nature of like. So I think that's why I don't think it should be on TV at the moment.
Okay.
Because I feel like there's this confusing and disjointed nature between AEW and BTE. But I do think a second show is obviously a great thing for them. And I'm still trying to figure out what day I think they're going to be on because...
Well, right now, so you have Wednesday. Tuesday is technically open because, it's NWA Power.
But you got to think outside of wrestling.
Okay.
TNT has basketball on Tuesday.
So, okay, TNT schedule. They have basketball on the weekends, too.
I know.
So
so here's what we can rule out. Monday's ruled out because they said, Kevin Riley straight up said, currently no plans to air the show Monday nights opposite Raw. So
smart.
Monday's gone.
Tuesday's basketball,
but that's only a portion of the year. That's a big portion of the year.
I would say that's a big portion of the year.
But in the interview that Riley said, he said that AEW show, second show, will be weekly on TNT, but maybe not 52 weeks a year is what he said, which makes me think Tuesday is in play because it'll just be when basketball's not on.
Yeah, but if you're doing that, then you're limited. You're automatically knocking out the majority of the year.
For like 5 months, you're telling your audience to look somewhere else. 5-6 months, you're telling your audience to go somewhere else.
Yeah, you're.
So that's risky. It's risky. So that's one.
Wait, because the season is basically October to June.
You have a Bulls hat on, so I'm going to trust you more than me.
No, yeah, I'm like. I wear so many baseball caps, so many different Chicago teams, but. October to June. So October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. That's almost 9 months, damn it.
That's what I'm saying. So Tuesdays are probably not plausible.
Wednesdays is Dynamite.
Wednesday's Dynamite.
Boom.
And also you think Tuesday's what they originally wanted, and it was turned down. They had to do Wednesday because of basketball. Thursday, I believe they have another sport. I want to say baseball.
But baseball doesn't come back till
it's not as long as basketball.
It's not as long at all.
So Thursday's technically in play, but you'd have to think, like, do they want to do Wednesday back? Do you want to do back-to-back Wednesday, Thursday? Maybe, I guess. Raw and SmackDown did it for a long time successfully.
Monday too, yeah.
So I guess Thursday is
because Friday's not going to happen.
What was it? I remember someone saying Thursday.
What about Sunday? Sunday's still another basketball day sometimes.
I don't think they want to go opposite pay-per-views.
Yeah, see.
Like for WWE. And then, so to me... Saturday seems like the most plausible thing.
But it has to be Saturday early.
Yeah, 6:05.
I think earlier than that.
Why?
Because of basketball sometimes.
You know basketball schedule more than me.
Yeah, I'm like 6:05 here is 9:05 on the East Coast.
True. Is that basketball time?
Basketball time.
Because I was thinking, look, Cody's clearly WCW influenced. And I was thinking WCW Saturday night was like the thing.
Yeah, but this was before the NBA on TNT was a thing.
True.
Because the NBA on TNT is a very big. You are not going to forego the NBA on TNT.
No, it's like their it's like their thing.
Yeah, you're not going to get rid of. You're not going to bump that for AEW. I understand there's a lot of wrestling fans who are listening to this right now, like, oh, they can do it. Trust me, you are not going to bump that out.
See, I almost feel like it's going to be a TBS show. Because that's where WCW Saturday Night was too, I believe.
Well, and
it's going to be a Saturday night show, and then when basketball is not on,
then it ships back to TNT.
It ships back to, or it's on both.
Okay, now see, when you brought that up, I forgot about TBS because we're so used to saying TNT.
Yeah.
We're so used to saying TNT.
Totally. Yeah.
TBS cool.
Does exist. Yeah.
Because they use TBS for baseball, but you can have those open slots for wrestling.
And that's where WCW Saturday Night was.
lived. It lived on TBS. So.
And WCW Cody, WCW Saturday Night. Cody probably watched that shit as a kid.
Oh,
he
of course
loved
he did.
WCW Saturday Night Central. He probably loved it. So that's my guess. And
okay.
You look at the schedule.
TBS makes better sense then because you keep thinking extra show on TNT.
Because if you sell people on TBS, when it's on TNT, it's like extra. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's how I feel like they have to sell it. It's like it's gonna be on TNT sometimes, but TBS
overall,
is the mother station, the superstation.
It lives on Ain't been the superstation in God knows how long, ladies and gentlemen.
Makes you feel old, right?
Man, listen. I'm drinking green juice right now.
Let's switch topics here. Let's talk about Tessa Blanchard. I didn't mean to do that while you were mid-sip. I was like, I didn't want too much dead air there, but I was like, I should probably let him finish sipping before I tell him we're transitioning to that one.
Oh, no, we good. Let's do this one.
So everyone probably saw it that's listening to this. You know, Tessa Blanchard, she was challenging for the Impact World Championship this weekend, and that's it. No.
Yeah. Is that like the tweet I put on Twitter? It's like, so wrestling Twitter. Anything interesting happened today? Yeah. That's what we're gonna say. That's it. Yeah.
No,
okay.
So it was crazy, man. Like that.
It started from
Saturday.
Tessa.
Was it Saturday or Friday?
I think it was.
Either way, one of the two. Tessa puts out this tweet where she basically says, like, "Hey, wouldn't it be great if all women support each other?" And like, "Hey, what a novel concept." And I've never had an issue with Tessa Blanchard ever. But that I have never seen a tweet backfire so hard. Like maybe outside of wrestling, because maybe like there are times when like a Trump tweet or like things like
outside of wrestling.
But in wrestling,
I have never seen an inside wrestling tweet backfire on anybody.
Especially when their initial intent was like positive, where it was like, hey, why don't we just support each other?
Because the thing is, it'd be a different story if it was a bunch of dudes. It was all top tier women.
Like I've never seen so many women come out in support against someone for that. Like they were all just like, oh, really? What about this one time when you did that? What about this time you did that? And it was just like, man, I was retweeting them all, and I didn't expect it to keep like mounting the way it did. Like it was like a snowball effect where people who barely even tweet were chiming in. Like Kavita Devi, who was in the Mae Young Classic with her, was like, well, why weren't you like that during the Mae Young Classic?
When Tessa Blanchard started tweeted trending worldwide, I was like, I told one of my buddies, I just went, ooh. Matter of fact, it was Saturday. It was Saturday,
yeah.
Because I remember because I was at the Comedy Store and I was looking, I was like, oh. So here's the problem. We've heard about Tessa Blanchard bullying. It's been a little whisper thing that happens.
Yeah.
That really wasn't the biggest issue.
No, I was going to get to that. The biggest issue was, so Allison Kay actually, a.k.a. Sienna, who was in Impact, she was the one who really dropped the word on her. You know, she said, I'm pulling it up so I don't mess it up, but she said, there she waited. I'm trying to find the exact.
You're supposed to have these on standby.
I know.
Damn it, Ryan.
Here it is. So Sienna said, "Oh God, there's so many like updates from all these those articles." She said, "Did she already delete it? Where is it? Wait, hold on.
You probably gotta find
it." There it goes. She said, "Remember when you spat in a black woman's face and called her the N-word in Japan? Was that you supporting women?" The audacity of this tweet. Chelsea Green replies saying, like, "I remember that," with a GIF.
And then somebody was like, "I wonder who it is."
Yes. And then the girl starts tweeting, and she did like a little hand up emoji or whatever.
Like, it's me. Hi.
Well, because first Tessa denied it. Tessa said, like, never, I'm not even going to dignify it with a response.
Yep.
Like, never happened. And then the girl is like, "No, it happened." And then, like,
she's like, I'm the one.
I'm the one. It happened. And then, people are like saying, "Yep, that was the one." And then even Big Swole chimes in.
She was like,
and she's like, "Hey, not only did it happen, I have been trying to mediate patching up of things between these two parties for years now. So obviously it happened." And the fact that Tessa hasn't said anything since is pretty crazy. The fact that she said didn't happen, wins the world title, and is just pretending like it didn't happen is crazy.
She left. She ended up giving another tweet that was somewhat of a mini statement.
She said it after the pay-per-view. It was she did a pay-per-view when she won the title at Hard to Kill.
Yeah.
She did I watched it. They cut the feed very fast. Like, it was like, she won.
Congratulations. Bye.
We're gone. Like, they did not stick around to see what would happen. And then she did a thing in the ring with her family. And she said, "Over the past 8 months, this has been my life. Sammy and OVE have been a thorn in my side. And tonight we did it." And then she said, "Nobody in this life is perfect. We're all human. And it doesn't matter what you say about me. It doesn't matter what you call me. I've got one of the strongest minds I've ever known. So whenever you come for me, you come for all these people." And I'm sure the people in the back did not sign up on that.
First of all, can I do this?
Please.
I'm tired of people getting caught up with racist. Let me say it hopefully I can say it this way. Getting caught up with racist shit. And then trying to say, "Oh, I made a mistake." No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Stop doing that. A mistake. I was bullying somebody. Okay, that's still messed up. Because people know who you are. You have a name. You can blacklist people. People were talking about that.
Yep. Every single one of them said they were scared of her blacklisting.
Her blacklisting them.
Yes.
But then when you go racist and say, "I'm a different person now, I made a mistake." No, you said that from your heart. Especially the fact you spat on that woman too. So stop. I'm tired of people going in tweets and be like, "Oh, well, people learn from their mistakes. They
heat
grow
of
up."
the moment.
No. Look, we say a lot of things. I can call you an asshole. I can call you so many things. But the moment I go racial with it, it's in my heart to do that. And you can't just say, "Oh, it was because I was angry." It's because you've been wanting to say it. Mm-hmm. And so that lets me know how Tessa is for real. And everybody trying to defend her. And I'm going to say it because someone I met who was a sweet person, who I don't believe she defended, was Melissa Santos. Like, yo, I know I met Mel. She's a sweet person. But you cannot defend that.
No.
You can't.
No.
You can't defend saying, "Oh, we make mistakes."
Haters.
Hey,
come on.
She still they did not stop her from going over.
No.
That would have been saying, "Oh, haters." If Impact's office would have been like, "Hey, so we can't do this tonight. We can't." But no, they still went with the plan and put her over.
Do you think that they made the right decision in that call?
It was a catch-22. They were damned if they do and damned if they didn't.
I agree with that.
It was one of those because it's like
they had spent 9 months on this.
You spent 9 months. I was talking with my buddy Brad Gilmore. It's like, what do you do?
I know. I agree.
It's what do you do?
And it didn't even happen in their company, so it's like, what are you going to do? Suspend her for something that happened 4 years ago in Japan?
Right, you can't.
You can't.
You can't do anything that has any ramifications in the company because it doesn't affect the company directly at that time.
Correct.
Now, you have to live with what happens now.
Yes.
Because now your world champion is known as a racist.
Yes.
Man or woman, it doesn't matter. Your world champion is known as a racist, and it's been backed up. It'd be a different story if this was a bunch of, for lack of better words, unknown women.
Yeah.
These are
prominent voices.
These are prominent voices.
Yeah.
And to sit there and say, because again, I was looking at Twitter and I had to stop looking because there was a bunch of people, "Oh, people make mistakes, they're human, they learn." Listen, I'm tired of people doing that shit. It's getting ridiculous. I'm tired of people just trying to sweep racism under the rug as if it's a simple little mistake. It's not.
Yep.
It's how you feel. And especially in the professional wrestling business, it is still to this goddamn day very prominent.
And you know what's crazy is, like, it's not like it's a new thing. Like, I have known literally my entire life that it's not okay to say the N-word.
Right.
You know, like I've known that's not something you do. Like, it's a terrible thing that was a word used to put people, a whole race of people to put down, like to denigrate them. Like, you don't say it.
And people always say, well, why can black people say it? We took a word made to demean us, and we have it and tried to make power to it for us. But when other people still say it, it's not trying to be cute. It's trying to say, see, we're taking it back. But then to say it in the way she said it to her and to spit on her, you can't tell me that's a mistake.
And and also, like, since then, there have been other words that were in my vocabulary because it was a different time that I have since grown up and learned those words really hurt people in the same way the N-word hurts people.
Yes.
And so I had removed it from my vocabulary, you know? And you know what? Even in the heat of the moment, it's not that hard to not say it, you know? Like, and honestly, when you do, like, it kind of says something about you, you know? And, like, that's a pretty... The fact that there's so many people that was that in front of, that saw it, like, you can't just brush that under the rug and be like, oh, it was a mistake I made when I was younger. Like, that's
because it's happening.
And you know what? She hasn't even done that. Like, she hasn't even tried to do that at this point.
She literally just was like, I made a mistake. I grow up. Literally saying it in the ring.
Nobody is perfect.
Right. And we can't use that. Again, so many, I've said this yesterday, a popular Twitch streamer, a blonde girl from Canada, did the same thing. And she, oh, guys, I'm flawed. I'm human. I make mistakes. Stop utilizing that to try to justify racist bullshit. That's all it is. Listen, like I said, it has been known in the pro wrestling industry, racism exists. Why do you think the whole angle of Kofi Kingston winning a title that I know is choreographed in a sport that you can just write who wins, no matter, why do you think that was such a big deal?
Yep.
Why do you think it was such a big deal?
Yeah.
People don't get that.
Yep.
And for her to do that, now it's like Impact has got to go, oh, man, we got to try to make sure we go all this angle we got with her and these plans, and hopefully none of this comes back. Well, guess what? You can't. The only thing that helps Impact out now is that for the majority of their tapings, they do them in bundles until they get to a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. That's definitely the only thing working in their favor.
It's the only thing working in their favor in this. And then people say, oh, people are just hating on Tessa. No, I was happy before all of this when I was hearing Tessa was going to finally be the one to do it. I knew Tessa was supposed to have done it a while ago because I know who was supposed to go. She was supposed to win it from a while ago.
Yeah.
And I was behind her then because you know why? I didn't know anything about her past like that.
Me too.
No one knew anything about her past.
And you know what? If she was heartfelt about it, I'd still support her. Like, if she said, like, I fucked up. Like I'm not the whole like insincere. Everyone makes mistakes. I was like, hey, I made him. I fucked up. I'm so sorry, and I'm gonna work hard to fix it. Like,
and that's the problem. Now she can't. And see, the thing is, I guarantee she may try to do one of those little heartfelt apologies, but it's not
Twitter notepad app thing.
Yeah, it's gonna be like, hey, here's this whole long thing I just wrote down. This way you can see how I felt. Or she's gonna do some video to say it and try to get some tears. But guess what? You don't get any sympathy now because you already told us how you fucking felt.
Yep.
You already told us all.
I agree. That initial tweet was like a slap in the face.
It was kind of certain other tweets in certain places, but I'm going to shut up because of where I am right now.
Yeah.
Because you know exactly what I'm talking about.
That's exactly how it felt, for sure. I'm glad we were on the same page with that one. All right, let's move topics before we get into the shows. Last thing I want to talk about here, and that's Marty Scurll re-signing with Ring of Honor. What do you think about this?
Dude!
Not only re-signing with Ring of Honor, excuse me, but also becoming one of the lead bookers of the show.
If somebody says we're giving you the book and you know what that means now, like, okay, I can be this champ that I've wanted to be. I can run this company. Like, yeah, most wrestlers' dreams are to run the company, no matter what company it is.
Of course.
So you get that dream. But what money does Ring of Honor have, and what opportunity and visibility is it giving more than what was on the table elsewhere?
Yeah.
Even NWA, no matter how many people may feel about NWA Power as it being on YouTube, it's meant for a certain demographic to do, and it does what it needs to do.
Yeah.
You have AEW, which would have embraced him with open arms, and we all know what the fan base would have loved him. The WWE is the only one I can see him saying no. Because they would have signed him saying, we have Marty Scurll, and then you'd have been like, where's Marty Scurll? Well, he signed.
Yeah.
So I can understand.
He's teaming with Jack Gallagher on 205 Live.
205 Live, the Umbrella Twins.
The Umbrella Twins.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I can see why he doesn't go there. But there has
Vince
to be
would have
some.
loved the Umbrella Twins.
Oh, Vince! I got a great idea.
God.
Listen, you guys get matching fur coats and you do the eyes wide shut mask, and you know what I'm saying? Fidelio is the password when we come to the show. Like, so they has some dumb ass reason behind the two of them together. Which
did you hear the interview? There was a clip that got tweeted. I think it was Alex McCarthy who tweeted it. From Talk Sport, and it was so funny. It's Sheamus, and I'm pretty sure it's Alex McCarthy. Yeah. And it's Sheamus talking about the terrible creative that was pitched to him before he came back just now, and he says that like they sent him a picture where it's like his beard was now like a twirly mustache, and he had like a comb over, and one other thing I forget, and he was like, guys, you just sent me a picture of Jack Gallagher, just a taller, bigger Jack Gallagher. Like, that's definitely just Jack Gallagher. Like, why would you just have me become Jack Gallagher? Like, no, I don't want to do that. He was like making fun of me. He was like, it was terrible. It was so bad.
Yeah, Vince would have. Yeah, but nonetheless, when I heard the Briscoes were staying in ROH, I was like, okay,
of course,
something's. I get it.
Well, they don't have a lot of other options.
They don't have a lot of. At one point, it was rumored that Vince might have wanted them. Rumored.
Yeah.
And you know how stretched out that word is. Yeah. But they don't.
Because of the homophobic stuff.
Yeah, then because it's like, those are the Briscoes, Vince. You might want to do something.
Like, it was like, did you do the background check on them? I was like, you should look at some of the things they said first on the internet.
You might want to make sure before you actually give them a deal for you, because it's going to blow up in your face.
Yeah, like I think I'm a fan of the Briscoes, but I can see that a simple background check would probably stop them from getting in WWE.
Yeah, probably a Lars Sullivan. Anyway, so woo, that went there. But what does ROH hold? Because it's not the ROH of old.
No. I mean, honestly, that's how it feels right now when I look at it. Like, not to be mean, but
yeah, it's not to be mean. It's not what we.
It is becoming the captain of a sinking ship. To put it.
Because it's like back in the day.
In a way that makes more sense. Like, look at, like, they're not the place they were at. They're not putting on the quality of product they were. It almost felt like Madison Square Garden was their swan song. Like, they got there, and now what are they going to do after? Probably not much. And, do I think that Marty has the ability to turn things around, to pull that ship up, so to speak, and stop it from sinking? I don't know. I really don't. I don't know the kind of ideas Marty has. It's not an easy thing to come up with creative
for a whole company
for a year.
For a company,
it's not even easy to do it for 6 months.
No, again, for a company,
a whole company, not just you.
Not
Maybe
just
you. Have a cool vision for yourself.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Not just you.
Everybody.
You got to look and say, all right, so
you have to take you out of the equation.
Right? You're like, all right, so this general storyline here that has no real build to anything. How do we do this? How do we build this one? The women's division. How do we do that? How do we rebound from the bullshit we've been through with the women's division?
Even the Young Bucks and the Elite, Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Cody, even they have a guy ahead of them who is the final decision maker, yes. Tony Khan. They're not technically
the final decision
maker. That's a big thing. Like, that's a big thing. Like, that's a lot. And I don't know. Am I excited to see if he has it? Absolutely. I want to see what he's got. I want to see what his creative vision might entail. It's a big decision.
Also,
it's a crazy decision because, like you said, you think you'd want to, like, maybe worry about your own career when you're someone like him who could be a big time player.
They gave him this match with Okada. Like, yo,
yeah. You could worry about you, because a lot of times when bookers take the book, they're at the end of it.
Right.
Like, he's not.
You're nowhere near the end of your career.
No.
And again, you have the potential to go so many places. Again,
the Bucks had to do it. The Elite had to do it because of what they did with All In. Excuse me.
Yeah, once you ran a pay-per-view and you were like, oh, we sold out an arena.
Yeah.
Oh,
no one's been able to do that in 20 years. Okay, we're on to something here.
We got something.
But Marty didn't have to do that. Marty could have been, and look, granted, he's probably going to only work 40 dates a year, making tons of money doing it, which is not bad at all. He's preserving his body, but he doesn't need to do that.
Yeah, but it's the preservation of the body is fine. But the question is, are you still wanting to work the way you've been working? Because again, yes, less dates, more money is always a good thing.
Of course.
Always.
Of course.
But when let's just hypothetically say this ship finally sinks. Now what?
You better have guaranteed money, or else you messed up when you were the hottest free agent in the entire world. Agreed. Let's get into. Let's talk a little bit about. So wait, you've only seen parts of NXT, right?
I've seen parts.
Okay,
of it.
so I'll try. I won't go into the intricate details. So we had Keith Lee to set up. He came up for a promo. He sets up a title match with Roderick Strong that's coming up after he won the title shot. But then they attack him. Undisputed Era attacks him. Classic chair ankle spot. We get there.
Oh, we did the whole big man. Oh, I can't walk. Okay.
Classic moment. Switching gears from there because there's not a ton to talk about there. I like seeing that Keith Lee got promo time though.
Do you think they strap him?
I think they give him the North American title to see how he is.
Here's my reason I bring that up. I was talking to a couple buddies of mine, and then we were all giving early Rumble predictions. Mine's is Keith Lee.
No way.
Here's why. Hear me out. It's not to challenge for the WWE or the Universal title. It's to challenge for the NXT title.
I get what you're saying.
Because you get what again, we've been doing this whole
We're elevating NXT.
That's all it is. Brock number 1 is a reason, like I tweeted, you swerve everybody who potentially will be his number 1 contender.
I understand the idea, and I do think it would help elevate things, but I also think there are people like my dad and the people who don't watch NXT who are part of the main audience that Royal Rumble
is main. Okay.
And WrestleMania, they're a thing. Like those, you might not watch wrestling all year long,
but you go those two.
But you're gonna watch those two.
The
so
road all the way to
the road too. And I feel like you don't want to diminish that road by giving it to someone who is technically not on that road. Even if they're going to have NXT title. I think you have to have the NXT I think in order to do that, you have to have already had the NXT title defended at WrestleMania once or twice to establish that the NXT...
So you do it for... Okay.
You know, like
so not like what we did. So not like what we did at Survivor Series where you...
To put them on the map.
Yeah.
No,
I'm talking about how they had the... Was it the NXT title match? Yeah. They had...
No, it was Pete Dunne versus...
It was for the NXT title.
Was it?
Yes.
Okay.
Versus Adam Cole.
Oh, yeah. It
was for the NXT title.
You're right.
So the NXT title. So you did it on a main show, the last big main pay-per-view of the year. Granted, the match in itself didn't get all the buzz you wanted behind it.
Yeah.
But then we're talking about Keith Lee, who coming off of Survivor Series, the interaction with Roman, and the way now they've been still building him, you do this, you make him a monster in this damn Rumble. Now the eyes are on it.
I think SmackDown's more important. I think that SmackDown, Fox.
So Jesus. You
know who's winning.
I don't want it to be him. As God is my witness, I pray to. I'm a Christian. I pray to Jesus Christ Himself, and I'll give a side shout out to Allah, Buddha, and everybody else. My prayer is that for some way, somehow, it is not a SmackDown person that wins it. It's a Raw person, but it's not the Fiend versus Roman Reigns. It's the Fiend versus the Demon.
That's what that's what I wanted.
I want that.
I wanted that, right? That's honestly what I predicted a long time ago, too. But we're 10 days away from the Rumble. And Finn is still very involved in NXT.
See.
You know, like, because I thought that. I honestly thought that's what they were going to do. But he's still involved in the feud for TakeOver Portland with Gargano. He's got Worlds Collide with Ilya.
Fuck me.
I know. You know it's going to be the big dog, though. You know it.
That's why I'm just...
You know it's going to be the big dog.
Because it's stupid. Because it's stupid. It's just dumb.
I like that we're getting the full opposite sides of the spectrum here because last week we talked about this on the show briefly, and I mentioned it to Kevin and Jamie, and they were both like trying to talk themselves into why it's okay. And I'm honestly, I don't care either way. I'm fine with it. But I liked it because I could see the wheels turning in them of trying to convince themselves of why it was okay. And it was like I'm okay with it. Like, yeah. And I like with you, you're just like, no.
Because
Allah, Buddha, God, Jesus, whoever, make it not happen.
Because here's the thing. It makes no sense for a dude with 8 Superman punches all of a sudden can beat a dude who's had his skull bashed in, been electrocuted, all this shit happen, and it's just and you win? No. Fuck no. No, it makes no sense because it takes away every single Seth Rollins damn near had to shoot this man in the face to try to survive. He electrocuted dude in Saudi Arabia, which is probably legal, and it's still no. And Roman Reigns with a bucket, man. All right.
Yeah, I feel my money is on a couple people. It's Roman Reigns, Cain Velasquez, Andrade, Brock Lesnar.
I see Brock. If that was my other pick. If Keith doesn't win it, Brock wins it.
Yeah, that's all I got.
If it's for me, it's Keith
or John Cena. But I don't think it's John Cena.
Ooh, John Cena got too many movies to promote.
That's why. He's in the middle. I thought about it, but then when I saw his interview with Frosty this week, with Collider, and talking about all the things he's doing, he's not coming back anytime.
He has no time. Like, everybody's like, well, The Rock can do it. Cena's schedule picked up as amount as The Rock. The Rock can't even do it this year.
And I only said Andrade in there.
Because of how they're pushing him?
Because of how they're pushing him. He's my dark horse out there.
Yeah.
And also, I almost feel like maybe Brock versus Kane won't be a title match. And that maybe like we get Ray versus Andrade for the title at WrestleMania, and Brock and Kane is just like an attraction match.
Here's the problem with Ray versus Andrade for the
title versus title, double title match.
So Ray gets back the U.S. title.
No,
Ray becomes WWE champ.
Yeah.
How does he beat Brock though?
I don't know. Kane helps him, and then it helps more to build Kane versus Brock.
And so you have Ray end up, what, do you have Andrade become double champion at Mania? Because look,
I would. Imagine WrestleMania, Raw after WrestleMania, Andrade come out stunting with just 2 titles.
And just call Charlotte out.
Right? Just come out just
you
full
already know.
Glory. You know, he's almost like RVD. He's got Charlotte and Zelina there, you know?
Somewhere Aleister Black is about to rise up like, the fuck?
Those are my picks.
All right, go ahead. Let's go back to NXT. Just go back. It's frustrating me. Just go.
Okay, so then we had Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne. They beat Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews. Really fun match. I like the team of Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne.
It's a fun team that you don't expect to work.
And
that's one of the matches I saw. That's what I'm saying.
It almost works.
The Broserweights, whatever. Yeah. It's like, okay.
And they even did the thing in the match where like there was, I forget what the spot was, but there was one spot where like Pete did the this thing and Matt did the this thing, and then they kicked, which was fun. Like, I liked it. Yeah. They're like cool. I feel like they'd have funny things backstage.
And NXT is gonna let them have fun.
Yeah, and they're probably not gonna win.
No, so it's like might as well have. They're not a real team.
No,
we just we need to put Pete Dunne in something.
We need to have Matt Riddle do something.
So let's let them have
off to the races.
You can go. We need you guys to go over the Flash. Y'all go back to NXT UK. Thank you for
thank you. Appreciate
you. Enjoy your flight back home. Right. Enjoy your flight home.
So then we have the Ciampa promo, Undisputed Era attack. Gargano makes the save, and later in the show we show that DIY has agreed to reunite again. They're gonna wrestle at Worlds Collide against Mustache Mountain. That match is going to be awesome.
It might steal the show.
Yeah. I mean,
but it's a Worlds Collide, so it's hard to say what'll steal the show.
True. And as much as like it's been a year since we've seen them wrestle, but I felt like when they reunited before, there was more put into it.
See, that's the only thing I don't like about this.
Yeah. It was very much like, hey, you want to wrestle with each other again? Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
It doesn't. No.
Very forced.
You got this was one of those breakups that it was like cool. So when you finally bring them back together,
it needs to be a bigger deal.
It needs to be a bigger deal. Worlds Collide is not that big of a deal.
No. And that's my main issue.
It's not that big of a deal.
But at the same time I get it. They want to sell tickets, and honestly, booking complaints or storyline complaints aside, that match is going to bang.
It's going to be a great match.
It's going to be so good.
Yeah, it's a great match. I mean, we're just talking storyline wise.
Yeah, storyline wise. Time Splitters, they were defeated by the grizzled young veterans.
Let me ask you this question. Did you honestly expect them to literally push the Time Splitters forward? don't, because I didn't. I don't know why. I saw it was dope to see when they said they're putting them together.
I didn't expect them to get out of the first round,
right,
though.
Everybody's like, okay, we're getting Kushida and Alex Shelley. Yeah, Alex Shelley's a trainer. So, yeah, he'll be, they're like, you know what, you still can go. Go do it.
You know what, though? I felt like Kushida, as talented as he is struggling in a certain way to connect with the audience for some reason. Like the audience as a whole. Maybe not the diehard fan base who already knew him, but like the ones who didn't. And I feel like putting a manager with him wouldn't necessarily have been as cool. Because it would have been too obvious, like Paige with Kabuki Warriors or Sammy with Shinsuke Nakamura. I hope, because they did a promo that aired on WWE.com and digital whatever, where it was Alex Shelley and Kushida talking about losing and challenging any other team for the future. So it sounds like they're going to wrestle at Worlds Collide as well. Mm-hmm. But him being in a team with a guy who already knows him so well, and they already have a connection, and it's a guy who has as much charisma as Alex Shelley does.
Right.
Because all the other stuff aside, you know, all the great wrestling aside, all his indie accolades, Alex Shelley is a super charismatic dude.
Yes, he's absolutely
incredibly charismatic dude. And the promo that he did with Kushida, I was like, that is the thing that Kushida has been missing in NXT, is someone to help him connect that isn't necessarily a manager. So I'm really hoping they are able to pull the trigger and get Alex Shelley in there full time.
Okay, so you get him full time to help get Kushida over, and then what? Because do you eventually just keep them together?
Keep them together for a little bit until Kushida gets over enough, and then you do a fun match at TakeOver where you bring Chris Sabin in and you do Motor City Machine Guns versus Undisputed Era.
That match would steal all of the shows.
All of the shows.
Not the show.
Yeah.
Like what?
How bad do you want to see that? Motor City Machine Guns versus Undisputed Era would be awesome.
I told somebody, I was like, I just want to see this. I just want to see this. I don't know, for the people listening, I did the whole hand with the point. The people that's just listening, I just want to see this. I just want to see that.
Yep.
I mean,
I love that. Honestly, Alex Shelley was like I thought he was so awesome in Impact. I loved him so much.
Dude,
like,
I did so many shows back in the day where they were bringing the guns in, and it was just like, yeah, we'll talk our match out in a minute. Hold on, let me watch this.
Yeah, they're great. And that was like one of my 2020 wish lists when I was like things I want to see happen in 2020 in NXT. Motor City Machine Guns in NXT, because both of them did guest training spots recently at the Performance Center. And then Alex Shelley comes in. If he helps get Kushida over,
then you see it's an easy way to bring Chris Sabin in and go ahead and do it.
Right?
I have no problem, and I have no problem with them do they call them the Motor City Machine Guns, though?
Oh, because it's an Impact thing? You can just call it like MCMG and roll with it, right? Like,
I mean, we have the club, so the official, the only, the original. Oh Jesus! So we have that thing going, yeah.
So yeah, I have high hopes for that. Then we had Swerve versus Lio Rush versus Tyler Breeze, 3-way, and Swerve won to qualify for the Cruiserweight title match at Worlds Collide as well. I know you didn't watch it, but
who's the Cruiserweight champion now?
Angel Garza.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Dude, I this is obvious, but like, man, Lio Rush is so good. Like, he's so good. And this match, I was like blown away. Like, the three of them, it was honestly TakeOver level. Like, shorter, obviously, but man, like, Tyler Breeze is working his ass off.
He belongs in NXT, and I don't want anybody to hear that and take that as a diss to him. But he works best in the NXT system.
Agreed. Absolutely. And Leo was like, man, he was just like like a little ping pong ball. Just like, just like.
Hey, look, you ain't going to get a second shot anymore. You ain't going to get another shot after this. Yeah. You got to make everything you do in that ring count if you're Lio Rush.
You know what's crazy, too? And I saw someone tweet about this. I forget exactly who it was, but I saw it when I was scrolling my feed. It's kind of crazy, the fact that Leo, since he's come back, hasn't really cut that many promos.
No. For some dude who was the mouthpiece
of someone, and successfully the mouthpiece of someone, like people liked him as the mouthpiece. It's kind of interesting, the fact that he hasn't really. You think it's because when he talks, he is known as a heel, so they're trying to make him, and they're trying to make him a babyface right now, so they don't want to remind you that he has a voice that used to annoy you. Maybe. It's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, because as soon as he starts talking, he probably
You're like, wait a second. He used to be that asshole with Lashley.
You were the guy with the dude with the tattooed eyebrows, weren't you?
Wait a second. He takes the bandana off. It's like a whole. Wait a second.
I know you.
Hey, you used to have short hair. And lastly, there was the and lastly, there was the women's battle royal. A bunch of stuff happened in this. Casey Catanzaro came back.
About time.
Good news.
About time.
About time for sure.
Yeah.
There was that brief period where it looked like she'd maybe asked for her release.
Yeah, I thought she was done.
I thought she was done too, but then people told me not true, so I didn't really pursue it too much. And now she's back, which I'm happy. And honestly, if she's back full time, they need to get her in the title picture soon. I think like she was someone who was like,
yeah, but you got to build up to it because you build
up to it for sure.
You can't just throw now. If she's back full time, you can't just say we're going with Casey.
No,
because you're building other things, and the winner of this. Who deserved to win it, but I hope she can produce on this platform.
Yeah, me too.
Because I'll let you go forward. I didn't want to spoil it before you announce who won.
Yeah. So then we also had a moment where Shayna Baszler was in the match. A cool moment where she squared up with Mercedes Martinez.
Yeah,
loved that. Very cool that she's already in matches and stuff, just like a day after they announced her signing officially. All right, you're good. Honestly, it feels like it's because Shayna is going to. I don't know this, but it feels like Shayna might be gone from NXT.
They're trying to fill that spot in,
and they're trying to fill the spot in. Want to get Mercedes versus Shayna one time before she's gone.
Yeah,
and they're like, well,
let's hurry and
pull the trigger on this before it's too late.
Here's the problem with Shayna leaving, because everybody knows if Shayna leaves, what we're eventually gonna get, hopefully to get. But the problem is the other two pieces of the puzzle ain't nowhere near ready.
They're passable.
For those who don't understand,
passable. The rest of the four horsemen.
Yes, it's like
They're passable. They've had matches on NXT that weren't bad.
Okay, yes, they've had matches on NXT that weren't bad.
Yeah,
but you put them two women in the main spotlight with the four horsewomen, who are work horses for real.
Yeah, but
I believe they can carry them.
But if you look at it, come on now. If you look at it, they're not going to be wrestling all the time.
This is true.
There'll be a match or two, And also, at the end of the day, if you're Vince McMahon, the four horsewomen of WWE should win.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't matter in my eyes. Yeah, they are a little inferior. That's why the women who have been wrestling for
I got you.
The four horsewomen of WWE are going to win. These women bleed WWE.
Also, I know we got to get ready to go soon. I don't want Shayna to go up.
Whatever.
All right. Well, all right. Shout out to it. I don't want Shayna to go up. And here's why. NXT needs to be a solid brand.
Fair.
You can't keep trying. You can't keep hoping to rebuild your top.
But Shayna has done all she's going to do in NXT.
This is.
You almost lose value on that commodity
there.
If you're not having her as champion in NXT and she's still there.
And it's that whole because we know there's a better place. And that's the crazy part, because when somebody goes to Raw and SmackDown, if they're a former champion and they lose the title and they're not in the picture, they're just there.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Whereas NXT, you're like, well, they got to go up now. And the problem is NXT, yes, it was never meant to be a final stop.
But it's going to be now for some.
Okay, Gargano and Ciampa are not leaving.
They're not leaving.
Because
Castasono, I don't think he's leaving.
Hell no, Chris Hero.
Yeah, Chris Hero's there. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones that are there.
But that's the thing, certain guys like that, yes, you got to keep.
I would almost say Undisputed Era is there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I don't think, listen, to anyone
at least 5 years.
Anyone listening or watching who believes that Undisputed Era can be okay on the main roster, you're a damn fool.
Out of your mind.
You are out of your mind.
Put him again next to Big Show.
Look, put him next to Daniel Bryan. You saw what Adam Cole looked like next to Daniel Bryan.
And I honestly, I love Undisputed Era, so I agree. There's no need.
There's no need.
There's no need. They are making you money in the spot they are in, and people like it.
You break them up eventually.
You can turn them back and forth. You can break them up eventually. There's literally no reason to do that. No. So I'm in full agreement there. Full agreement there. I like that Shayna got eliminated by Shotzi. It was a nice little moment for her.
Very nice.
I thought that was cool. I also loved that Tegan Nox got eliminated by Dakota the way she did, because Dakota wasn't in the match, so she came running. She knocked her off the top rope and then took the knee brace and just chucked it at her on the ground, which I loved. It was hilarious. Then we had Io and Bianca as the final two, and Bianca Belair officially winning, which I love because the time has come.
Yes.
And also, look, not to be like, oh, like you can only push one black performer or whatever, but like if Velveteen Dream is not like your for the culture type act there, and Street Profits aren't there anymore, Bianca Belair should be representing on TV. Like, she is a role model to people. She is insanely talented. Like, she is, if this is the up-and-coming brand, she's the definition of that. Like,
Listen,
she is going to be the future.
I have so much love and respect for her, Montez, and even Angelo. My thing is, I need Bianca to produce. It looked like the lights got to her at Survivor Series. Now you're going to be, I understand it's still NXT. Treat it like you on this bigger level. Because we believe in you. We see this in you. Give it to us.
Yep. I think we're there. I think that I honestly feel like she was holding back a little bit because
it was supposed to be the spotlight on Ripley?
Yeah. That's what I'm hoping for, at least. And now I feel like maybe she's going to shine. Because, like, honestly, like, I've enjoyed all her matches. Like, always. She's someone from, like, the first time I watched her matches. I was like, that's future of women's division.
Let me tell you something. I'm always impressed with the women that come into this business now, especially because they're not divas. They want to prove, I can do just as much as the men do, if not more and better.
Yep.
And Bianca Belair look, when they showed her combine videos, I was like, I'm sold.
Yep.
I'm sold.
Yep.
And then I watched her work. I'm good.
Yeah, totally.
I'm good.
Totally. Yeah, totally. So I'm glad. So you are happy that she won.
Yes, I'm happy that she won.
Good.
Very happy.
All right. In the brief amount of time we have, I'll do a few of these AEW topics and then we'll get out of here. I think they have some event thing. There was a 4-way tag match at the beginning. Went a little wild. A lot of spots going everywhere. Went a little. What's the word I'm looking for?
I have some juice in here.
But yeah, it was a spot crazy match. Obviously, things were happening the whole time. Honestly, I'm really liking the team of Hangman and Kenny Omega.
I'm just waiting on it to blow up.
It's gonna blow up.
I mean, it's just so obvious, though.
It's so obvious.
I think that's the problem I have with it. It's not one of those where it's like it's a believable team. It's just like any moment now.
My problem is the most interesting part of this whole story happened on BTE and wasn't shown on TV.
See what I'm saying?
Because when he told them he was taking a break from the group, they never showed that on TV. So now him not being on the same page, using Matt's niceness towards him and Matt not going full force against him, using that against Matt to eventually win the match at the end. Like, all that smart. I like all of it, but I felt like you needed that first part of this whole thing.
Which brings me back to my earlier statement. Yeah. Is being the elite needed anymore?
No.
Because it's not, again, I understand that you're trying to say, go understand a lot of these stories, you got to go to the YouTube channel, and it's not even the All Elite YouTube channel. Go to Being the Elite.
Yes.
It's confusing for people.
It's very confusing. So I agree. I think that, like, this story would have been so much better if that had been on TV. Part. Yeah. And I've seen it, so I'm enjoying it, but not everyone has.
Right.
And so yeah, I feel the same way there. But I do like, as much as I felt like the Bucks should have won and need to be tag team champions in AEW as soon as possible.
They do?
I think that's me. That's
why?
I think a new company should have the titles on the most over people. That's just me. Because you're trying to trot them out to the media. You should be using that overness to get your company over.
Okay.
Getting the rub on your own fucking company.
No, I got you.
You know, like, no offense to SU, I love Scorpio Sky. I think they're a great tag team. But, like, nobody was saying we should start a whole company around SCU. They were saying we start a company around the Young Bucks.
I agree with you. I think that's why you put it on SCU, though. You're trying to say this is something different.
I'm cool with that, but the Young Bucks are something different. Like,
I know you ain't got to preach. You preach that goddamn quiet when you get all of.
I know they are. Ryan's up yelling at me. But that's me. I think first year of a company or second year, whatever, the most over talent should be the ones you put the title on. Jericho as champion. We all said it. Everyone was like, Jericho should be champion, of course.
Yeah, I was one of those people that were like, Hangman Page is not the guy.
Not the guy.
Not the guy. Everybody's like, are you crazy? I was like, no. Who knows who Hangman Adam Page is outside of this small fan base?
And I think SCU are very talented dudes. I think they're great. They're over with the wrestling fan base, right? But I just think similarly, like, Young Bucks are who the people want to watch. Like, they're the guys who were popular enough to make all this happen. Put the belts on them. They should be having a run with the tag belts that we haven't been able to see yet because they were underutilized in Ring of Honor. Like,
that's fair.
You know,
that's fair.
That's how I look at it. And
no,
I realize that
if you bring it that way, I get what you're saying, though.
That's how I look at it. But I do like the story being told with Hangman and Omega, so I was not against it at the end of the day. I would have liked to have seen the Young Bucks win it, but I realize what's going on. Cody comes out, Miami Vice gear, to accept MJF's stipulations. Silly, the stipulations, obviously, but it is what it is. It's still a good
it's a good program
between them. Yeah.
I like the way they're swerving away from everything else. They're like, look, we need this to steer away from Cody being the executive vice president and all this. Cody's just a guy in AEW.
Yeah.
So, and I love the way they're doing it.
Yeah.
MJF is getting all the heat.
The best.
All of it. Like, that's what you want.
I love that he came out for the match in the shirt that said "I bang Diamond Dallas"
whatever.
Yeah.
If you're DDP, to an extent, you're like, I get it, kid. I get it. If you're DDP's daughter, are you like...
She works for the company.
I know. That's what I'm like. Are you like...
I know.
It's like...
I think she's dating someone, too.
Yeah, and it ain't MJF. No. It is not Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
Yeah, because she's on AEW Dark sometimes.
Yeah.
But I think she's also the makeup person.
She's AEW. I think she's Glam. She's All Elite Glam or something like that.
Oh, is she?
I
She's
think
the one who does that?
It's her and my
Stella.
girl Stella. Stella, who's super cool.
Then we had the Nightmare Collective.
Well, I'm going to get up out of here.
We'll go through this one quickly. We have the Nightmare Collective. They lost to Chris Statlander and Hikaru Shida. Not the best match.
Who's Luther?
That was I'm glad you asked that, because to me, I couldn't even pay attention to the match because I was too busy being entertained by JR's
commentary,
trying to get Luther over.
Fans know who he is.
He said at one time, what did he say? He said, because I tweeted the one where he said
fans know who he is, do your research.
But he said another thing later, because first he said the research thing. He was obviously longtime fans know who this man is, do some research. And I laughed because I was like, longtime fans do not know this man.
Zero
idea.
I was like, who uncle did they throw in some shirt and some...
Well, he was Jericho's best man in his wedding.
I don't give a shit.
No, that'll answer your question of why.
Okay.
You know, there's the why.
Okay.
But nobody knows who he is. And although I will say, I've heard Tony Khan do interviews, and a lot, obviously. And he does talk about being a fan of the promotion that this guy used to be in Japan. I was not a tape trader. I did not watch that shit. No offense to that stuff, but I didn't watch it, so not to me. But I laughed. The other line that made me laugh was JR on commentary. And he goes, well, Hikaru Shida, she grew up a wrestling fan in Japan, so obviously she's very familiar with Luther. And I laughed. I like JR just going all in with it. I'm just like,
if I'm gonna try to put him over, goddamn it, I'm gonna put him over.
She comes from Japan, so it was a wrestling fan in Japan. So obviously she knows. She's very familiar with Luther.
I'm gonna ask a question that the listeners or the viewers may get upset about me asking this, and hopefully you can help me out. Who the hell is Mel?
She was an indie wrestler.
Okay, because she still is. No. And I know it's like, yo, Jay, it sounds like you're hating. I understand a lot of these guys and girls are people we want to put spotlights on.
Yeah.
Mel looked like she just started.
Yes, she did.
Mel looked like she wasn't ready for this moment.
She did.
I understand she's supposed to play this enforcer role, but it didn't, and I get that.
I think she's been on the indies for a long time, too.
Oh.
I think I saw someone post some of her, shimmer, with all the other popular, the Baileys and all of them of, when they were in that time period, she was one of them. I know. She's apparently been wrestling for a while.
I'm sorry. I want to work there. I want to.
No, I get, and you know what? You're not the only one that said it. I didn't see one person that said anything good about it.
Because it's not like again, if I have terrible parts of my matches or my stand-up or whatever, let me know and I can improve on. But I'm watching and I'm like, she's moving slow as if this is new to her, like she's maybe a year, 2 years in.
Yes. Fair.
TV-wise, I can understand there's a whole different level of working. But the way she just was moving around the ring and there's certain things they were doing, and I'm like, I don't get it.
Yep. Fair. I think it's a very fair analysis of that, 100%. And you're not the only one that said that.
Okay.
That's all I saw on social media about this show. I get a lot of people commenting on that match. So I always feel like we don't need to pile on even further because trust me, I have a feeling they got the message.
Okay.
Then we had Jon Moxley. He beat Sammy Guevara. Okay, so I hated the match. I loved the post-match stuff. I felt like Jon Moxley is
still Dean Ambrose.
And he is that's not what I hated about it.
No, I'm just saying.
What I'm saying is because he was Dean Ambrose, it's the guy who used to be in the Shield. Like, that guy is a very famous wrestler.
Yeah.
Like, he's supposedly a very tough competitor. He is a tough competitor. He won. I didn't like how much he sold for Sammy Guevara. I feel like nobody looks at Sammy Guevara in the same light as Jon Moxley yet, and I felt like he hasn't done enough yet to warrant getting that much offense on Jon Moxley.
And I see that a lot. That's one of my issues I do have with All Elite. And again, I understand they want to make superstars out of people.
But you have to get them there in order for it to work when that happens.
I can't believe that Sammy Guevara or Darby Allin can do some damage at the level they do to people because they're twice their size.
Yes. And at least Darby Allin, his only thing, I want to die.
Yeah,
at least you go like, well, that guy has a death wish.
He has a death wish.
I can kind of believe it. I can get it. He's Jeff Hardy status.
That's exactly what he is.
Sammy Guevara, though, and I think Sammy Guevara's insanely talented and will be there by the end of the year. I just feel like this doesn't necessarily elevate Sammy Guevara. To me, it brings Jon Moxley down a peg because he's doing Spanish flies off the top rope for Sammy Guevara.
You're not supposed to be doing a Spanish fly for Sammy Guevara.
You know what I mean?
You do a Spanish fly for Pac.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? You might do one for anybody your size in a sense. It doesn't look right.
And it's just like, you always hear about like the time where like Big Show said I used to be able to do a moonsault and Hulk Hogan told me not to do it because that's not what I'm supposed to do. It's kind of how I look at that. Like Dean Ambrose is one of your top tier, highest caliber guys. He should not be selling Spanish flies for Sammy Guevara. No offense, Sammy Guevara. I think he's insanely talented. And like I said, I think he will be there. I just feel like this doesn't... If Sammy Guevara is like on a roll with all the people on his level and he's beating them all, and then he gets the match against Jon Moxley and can take Jon Moxley to the limit but can't beat him, he gains from that.
We're looking at it like... But see, they're looking at it from the sense of, look what he just did with Dustin Rhodes. Yes. So you say, okay...
Which I didn't like either.
I know, but I'm just saying that's what we're building on that. Look what he did with Dustin. Look what he did the week before. And so you're like, oh, well, of course he can take Moxley to the limit and all this. I just don't... I'm with you.
Yeah. You're with me. Mm-hmm. But I will say... I loved the post-match angle where Jericho comes out. They do the whole beat down.
Yeah.
And the spike in the eye. Like, such a classic, like, heel thing.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, just the way they sold it, him in the ambulance. So good. So good. Running out of time, so I'm not going to be able to spend too much time on DDP. But it was awesome seeing DDP back at the Bash at the Beach. Just made me feel like a kid again.
It does, but you don't. And I understand where people are selling the nostalgia, Bash at the Beach, WCW, DDP, yes. But there's no way MJF should have to do so much work to beat DDP.
I mean,
no.
They didn't have that much interaction.
He
low, like DDP got everyone else, and then he low blowed him, and then he rolled up QT Marshall's and did old school. So he didn't do too much.
Fair.
But the only thing I'm really not enjoying is like the respected veterans doing indie spots. That to me, I feel like you're there to show them how to not do that. Well, and so I don't like Dustin doing the destroyers, and I don't like DDP doing a dive to the outside.
Hey, DDP doing a dive to the outside is the scariest thing. You're 63 years old, you don't have to do that. It's okay. Hey, bro, I get what DDP yoga is for your joints, not your head. Stop. And you can't sell DVDs.
But It did look awesome.
It looks awesome at the end of the day, and I think that's
the dive more than the destroyer.
That's what I think. More so, that's what it all equals up to. That's all it amounts to. Did it look awesome? Do the fans pop for it? Do they? The question is now: do we just say, "Hey, you did that. You don't need to do more"?
Yeah, I don't. No. We're going to get MJF versus DDP.
No. I mean, you don't need to do more as far as dives and all this crazy stuff. That's what I mean. Not more like the matches. It's more like crazy stuff.
Agreed. 100%. Lastly, Pac versus Darby Allin. Not a ton to say because we do have to get out of here. They're going to be mad at me. But wait, do I already have a mean message? Oh, yes, I do. Oh, wait, no, it's not a mean message. Fantastic match. Like, you know what? I like that they ended with this. I thought about it for the day, and I thought to myself, you know what? Traditionally, you would have ended the show with the 4-way tag match, an Angle, or the Guevara, or even Guevara and Moxley. But you know what? They are trying to be an alternative, and they are trying to do things a little differently, and they wanted to have a very competitive main event match that had
good action and stakes.
Good action and stakes, exactly. And you know what? It paid off. It was a great match, clean finish. You know, all around, awesome. Like, there's not really much to like pick apart, but it was a great main event.
I'm here for it.
All right, Jay, where can people find you on the internet?
Twitter, Instagram at Mr. J Washington, MRJAY. You should know how to spell Washington. The Mad Titan Podcast. Everywhere you get podcasts from, I get you caught up on everything happening in the Marvel and DC live action and cinematic universes. Barbershop Talk for Nerds. And if you're a wrestling company, email me. I'll send you videos.
ProWrestlingSheet.com. That's the website where you can find all the top stories in the world of professional wrestling throughout the week. At Wrestling Sheet on social media. I am at Ryan Satin on social media. You can find this show, youtube.com/C/Wrestling Sheet. That's where you can find all the video shows that we do here and all the other video content that we have at ProWrestlingSheet.com. But if you just want to listen to the audio, you can check out our audio podcast feed as well. You can find all the shows that we do. Just search Wrestling Sheet Radio on all the biggest podcast platforms. And also, you can check me out every once in a while on WWE Backstage Tuesday nights on Fox Sports 1. It airs 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. All right, that's it. We're done. Officially tapping out for now. Until next time, stay out of the dirt and keep your eye on the sheet.